40 Hadiths of An-Nawawi. Hadith 32 by Maryam al-Hadar. What is my presentation about? There should be neither harming nor causing of harm. قال رسول الله صلى الله عليه وسلم لا ضرر ولا ضرار. Background. The hadith could be translated in other different ways. For example, no harm and no harming. Or there is not to be any causing of harm, nor is there to be any requital of harm. In another version of this hadith, in which the Prophet ﷺ says, no harm or harming in Islam. There is the additional phrase in Islam. In a third version, the hadith states, it's cursed whoever harms a mu'min. Lessons. A scholar stated that this hadith is one of the hadiths around which all of fiqh revolves. Also, this hadith led to the birth of new branches in fiqh, mainly the rules of fiqh. The text of this hadith became one of the most important rules. Later on, other rules were derived from the text of this hadith. Some other them are as follow. Number 1. Greater harm can be removed by a lesser harm. Based on this rule, it was realized that if someone has no other option, he should take the lesser of the two harms. Another situation that is if there is a conflict between two harms, priority is given to avoid the greater harm. Number 2, if there is a conflict between factors permitting and others forbidding something, the forbidding is going to be given the priority. There is a real story related to this rule. This story took place in Muslim Spain, where the people built a masjid. After several years of building that masjid, many houses have been built around it. When the mu'adhin wanted to make the call for prayer, he used to climb up to the manara. The fuqaha ruled that the mu'adhin should stop going up there so he will not cause any harm by invading the privacy of the surrounding houses. Regarding the interpretation of the text, scholars point out that what is stated in the hadith, the usage of the word harm, is not a matter of emphasize. It is more sound because the two statements have different meanings. Number 1, causing harm without valid or good reason. Scholars say that the Prophet ﷺ said that if the main objective is to actually causing of harm, then is totally prohibited. There are many types of harm that are mentioned in the Quran. One of them is about will. If a person has some money and will give, and he wants to give it to someone who is not related to him, he's allowed, but he must not exceed the limits, 1/3 of his money. If he exceeds the limits, he will not cause harm to the immediate. He will cause harm to the immediate relatives. Number 2, someone may do something for a beneficial reason, and with a good intention, but consequently causes harm to others. Building a a high building is allowed, but if that building will obstruct air, sunlight, or moonlight, it will not be allowed because it will cause harm. If one needs to dig a well, he should position it a little farther away from his neighbors, so he will not cause any damage to his neighbor's well. Conclusion. Any act that causes harm to others, whether individually or as a community, and whether a beneficial or not beneficial to the one who causes it, is prohibited in Islam. It should not cause exist in the first place, and if it did, then real effort should be made to remove or minimize it. Thank you all for listening to my presentation. Ramadan Mubarak.